US President Donald Trump has warned that the United States could launch additional military strikes in Nigeria if the killings of Christians continue. His statement follows a recent US airstrike aimed at terrorist groups operating within Nigeria, reportedly linked to extremist violence against civilian populations. Trump described the situation as unacceptable, signaling a tougher foreign policy stance should Nigerian authorities fail to curb the violence. Analysts say the remarks raise serious diplomatic and security implications for Nigeria, US-Africa relations, and regional stability. Please kindly like, share, and subscribe. It helps us navigate the algorithm and bring this news to more viewers on Naija Media Connect.
Hello, you are welcome to this class. Wait here, they hear so. They say Trump don't threaten to drop more bombs on terrorists in Nigeria. Threatened. No say what Trump promised they deliver. He said go drop more bomb. Do you know that when Israel said they are ready to assist Nigeria, their high commissioner where in Nigeria don't do interview to say they are very ready. I go tell you everything for this class. Not only that, they get one repo, one House of Rep member say, he thank God say they capture Maduro, they capture as an illegitimate president. Where rig election. He say make Trump come may international community come say this 2027. Some people want to ring the election. May Trump come I go tell you everything for this class. We go start. As you can see, now the news be this. Trump, there will be more missile strikes in Nigeria if attacks on Christians continue. January 9th, 2026. The cable. Punch. Trump warns of more US strikes in Nigeria over killings. BBC. Trump warns of more Nigeria strikes if Christians continue to be killed. This day, Trump warns of further US strikes in Nigeria if they continue to kill Christians. Reuters. Trump says there could be more US strikes in Nigeria. New York Times report. They say this interview, now New York Times now interviewed Trump. Where he talk am, see what Trump said. He thought say US may carry out more strikes in Nigeria. He said this thing go happen if they continue to kill Christians. He made the statement in an interview. The exact words, I would love to make it one-time strike. He said now one-time strike, now he won't do the one way he don't do. He no won't do again. But if they continue to kill Christians, it will be a many-time strike. Not be only one, not be only two, not be only three, not be only four. He go continue many times. Gumi must not hear this. Where and when he said it. The statement came from an interview with the New York Times. The interview was published on Thursday, yesterday. They asked him about the strike, where they don't already strike on Christmas Day. Now, when they asked him, he could talk about more strikes if they continue to buy Christians. Question about Muslims be killed in that same interview. They ask him what he own advisor talk. The advisor talk say Islamic State and Boko Haram kill more Muslims than Christians. Now the advisor talk him. Remember, person like me, my stand be say for middle bed they buy Christians. You hardly see Muslim when they buy. Now Fulani S-men, now they buy Christians for there. This one are different one entirely. Islamic State. They buy both Christians and Muslims. They call Assam. Your own advisor talk say they buy more Muslims than Christians for Northeast. See what they call talk. I think that Muslims are big kid also in Nigeria. He agreed. But it's mostly Christians. See? He generalized. Generally, not be only Northeast. If you look at who Fulani S-men, they drive come up from their house. With they talk about these classes. Now Christians, you hardly see Muslim community ransacked. We are not talking about ISWAP and Boko Haram now. People don't say they buy plenty Christians. In short, recently they talk say convert to Islam or die for Adamawa. You saw the news, Abi? Okay? Do you know that Israel, they are serious about helping Nigeria to stop terrorism? I don't know whether you say when he greets Christians around the world with this message.
From Jerusalem, I send warm greetings to our Christian friends around the world. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. From here, the Holy Land, Israel, the only country in the Middle East where the Christian community is thriving. Israel is the only country in the Middle East where Christians can practice their faith with full rights and in total freedom, where Christian pilgrims are embraced with open arms and are so deeply appreciated. The persecution of Christians or members of any religion cannot and must not be tolerated. And Muslim militant displacement and attacks against Christians in Nigeria, that too must end.
And said this while in a press conference with Trump.
And we openly said we want to make sure that the border area right next to our border is safe. We don't have terrorists, we don't have attacks, and we also want to secure our Druze friends. And by the way, I think not only the Druze, but other minorities, especially the Christians, should be protected as well in Syria and throughout the Middle East and in Nigeria.
And this.
There are some people who believe that, that faith should be silent and terrorism should be understood. No. Faith should speak its voice, and terrorism should be confronted, not understood, confronted and defeated. I see the battle against us and the battle against our Judeo-Christian tradition. They go to Europe, they go to the United States, they go to Africa, Nigeria. And we are conscious of the fact that Christians are being persecuted across the Middle East, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Nigeria, in Turkey, and beyond. Beleaguered communities who deserve our help. Just as you are helping us, we want to help back. And we're capable of doing that. In Africa with intel, in the Middle East with a lot of means that I won't itemize each one. But this is what our agenda is. It's a main part of our agenda, and it's going to continue with greater force and greater might in this coming year.
He met it too. His High Commissioner, when in Nigeria, recently, 2 days ago, had an interview in Arise News. The man said many things, so I no want to talk anything. I go play the video, some of it, make you listen.
Thank you very much for having me.
And Happy New Year.
And to you as well.
Let's start with Nigeria and that announcement by Prime Minister Netanyahu of a new Israeli front to protect Christian communities in this country and other parts of Africa. How has it come to this?
Well, I think that what Prime Minister Netanyahu said, and it was very clear, was that he wants to make sure that all those persecuted around the world, and he highlighted Christians around the world, not only in Nigeria, that it was important to do what Israel can in order to work with our partners, to work with Nigeria, and that's very important. This is about working with Nigeria. This is not about working against Nigeria. It's working with them as a partner, as an ally, and seeing what we can do. And he emphasized the issue of intelligence sharing and working in that area. And certainly I think that's the area that we will be looking at, to work with the Nigerian government to see where we can work together to stop the attacks that are taking place against Christians, but also against Muslims and against all Nigerians. Our interest is to work with Nigeria to stop all the violence in this country.
I was going to ask you what specific actions Prime Minister Netanyahu proposes to take to protect Christians in Nigeria, but you've kind of answered that. But no unilateral action.
No, absolutely. Our aim is to work with the Nigerian government, and the Prime Minister highlighted issues of intelligence sharing and other areas, and I think that we will be led and guided by the Nigerian government as to where we can work and where we can partner, because this is very much about working with an ally, working with a partner, and doing things to tackle insecurity as a whole within the country.
And I mean, obviously Israel is a staunch ally of the United States. I mean, if Mr. Trump was to decide to take some further action in Nigeria unilaterally, what would Israel's response be? I mean, I know it's a hypothetical situation.
Well, one, it's a hypothetical situation, and two, I think there's probably a better question to ask the American ambassador rather than the Israeli ambassador as to what the
the question is, what would Israel's response be?
Well, in a hypothetical, we'd have to see what the situation was. I couldn't tell you what our response is. What I can tell you is that we want to work with the Nigerian government to see what we can do to help and work with them to tackle insecurity across the country.
And how has the Nigerian government responded to Mr. Netanyahu's statement? I'm wondering if there's been any sort of behind-the-scenes diplomatic communication about this between you and the Tinubu administration?
Well, any communication behind the scenes will obviously remain behind the scenes. But as I said, Prime Minister Netanyahu has made our position clear, and so anything that we can do in those areas, and obviously when you're dealing with issues of intelligence and when you're issuing of information, it's not something that we're going to talk about publicly, because that would undermine the entire purpose of having a conversation about intelligence sharing.
But why would Mr. Netanyahu be talking about protecting Christians in Nigeria when peace remains elusive in his own backyard in Gaza? I mean, doesn't his statement seem contradictory given the ongoing Gaza conflict?
No, I don't think they're contradictory at all. What Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke about was Christians across the world. It wasn't only he spoke about Christians in Nigeria, he spoke about Christians across the world. And he highlighted the fact that Israel is the only country in the Middle East where the Christian population is growing. It's the only country in the Middle East where the Christian population is thriving. It's the only country in the Middle East where Christians have complete freedom of worship and freedom to do what they want. And I think that that was the point that the Prime Minister Netanyahu was making. And that's the critical point here, is that opportunity for Christians. You know, if you look at Israeli society, Christians are the most well-educated in Israel. They are the wealthiest. There are many, many things, but fundamentally, Christians have total freedom of religion. They can pray where they want. You know, we've just had New Year and Christmas, and you saw thousands of Christians in Jerusalem, walking through the Via della Rosa, going to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I was actually in Jerusalem on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day, and we saw Christmas trees and Christmas lights and Christians having a wonderful, wonderful time in Jerusalem, totally free to express their religion, to express their identity. And it was amazing to see. It was amazing as an observant Jew to be able to see this in my home city of Jerusalem.
So would it be fair to say that this announcement by Mr. Netanyahu talking about protecting Christians, not just in Nigeria but around the world, is part of a broader strategy? He talked about an eighth front in the battle against radical Islamists.
Yes, I think that that's true. If we look at what Israel's faced over the last number of years, we've faced 7 fronts of different radical Islamists attacking us, from Hamas to Hezbollah, to the Houthis, to the various militias and terror groups in Iraq and in Syria. And we've seen also Iran attacking us directly. And so this is the challenge that's facing the whole world. And by the way, I think that radical Islamism is also a challenge to the Muslim population. And I don't think that we should highlight and focus purely on Christians. I don't need to explain to you that in Nigeria, it's Muslims being killed, it's Christians being killed, it's been atheists being killed. It doesn't matter who you are. It's that insecurity that I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu is highlighting and offering to work with the Nigerian authorities to help tackle, because this is affecting Christians, it's affecting Muslims, and it's affecting people of no religion.
But is it also about strategic diplomacy, an attempt to sort of strengthen ties with Christian communities and nations to counterbalance Muslim majority countries and Iran's influence, for instance, in addition to positioning Israel as a protector of Christians to bolster its image in the Christian world? Because of course that sort of action appeals to evangelical Christian supporters in the US and around the world, doesn't it?
Well, Israel protects Christian because it's what we believe in. Israel is a country that is founded on the principle of guarantee of equality of religion, the guarantee of freedom of religion. We see that the Muslims have freedom of religion, Christians have freedom of religion. The only time in Jerusalem's history when all the religions have had total freedom of religion is when Israel has been in control. And so it's not about doing something for political purposes or diplomatic purposes. This is a fundamental ideological belief that Israel holds, that we need to provide freedom of religion and protect all minorities. Doesn't matter if they are Christian, if they are Muslim, if they are Jew. The fundamental principle for us is to protect the freedom of religion and protect all of those people. So that's where this is coming from. That's where this is born from. And I would emphasize that Israel has got very strong relations with many Muslim countries around the world. We've seen that now we're celebrating 5 years of the Abraham Accords, where we signed agreements with the United Arab Emirates, with Bahrain, with Morocco. Only today we announced a deepening of strategic ties with Morocco in the defense field and in other areas. So we've got very strong relations with Muslim majority countries, with Muslim countries and with Christian countries, because I think those countries recognize that we work to protect freedom of religion regardless of what the religion is.
You don't hear us so just the way where Trump threatened.
The Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians. The USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about.
Baby don't talk, oh, here, promise. Now, High Commissioner say, they are ready, oh, they are ready. They are not playing. They promise, they deliver. It will say everything the Nigerian government hand. If they want this assistance, it will be delivered. This rep from Imo State, look at what he said, the Guardian. Imo lawmaker urges U.S. action over alleged ringing. Backdrop on Maduro. Now be this. His name now be Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere, member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, represent Ijatu North as South Federal Constituency. Is called to the United States. It also say, may US and President Trump may they call intervene for Nigeria matter. He said there are plans to undermine Nigerians 2027 elections. He wants American authorities to step in early. If they love Nigeria, may they step in. He also say he supports what Trump do for Venezuela. He supported Washington's hardline stance of Venezuela. He described Nicolas Maduro as an illegitimate leader where he ring away into power. He said he supports international actions against leaders where they oppose democracy, where they undermine democracy. He said he they can't give them wutu as they give Maduro wutu. His allegations about Nigeria's 2027 elections. He said he must state now be election rigging machine. He said Nigeria democracy is under serious threat. He said the plan must be exposed and stopped. Indirectly, if Venezuela no shout out, they will not hear them. That's why they know say their president, na illegitimate president. They go capture am. His specific accusations. He accused unnamed actors of planning to manipulate the voters' register, bypass beavers, upload fake results to INEC's IREV portal. He said bypassing beavers would destroy election credibility. According to him, he said this time around, we are not calling for a visa ban. Grant them visas to travel abroad. I beg, give them visa. Once you give them visa, capture them there. He said, "May give them visa. All these election riggers, give them visa back. Even though they enter London, for they capture them, so they can spend the remainder of their life in prison with Maduro." Let me add that one. When I don't hear and so, wait till I think. When I drop up a comment section, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.